Alright you guys, here's my really easy food prep for the day. First off, you're going to see a bunch of greens, Power Greens that I got at Costco. These are also Power Greens, just a different brand. I'm going to use those two for my salads for lunch and dinner. I already have some of these Applegate Naturals savory turkey sausage patties. I already cooked a few of them, so I'm just showing you the package, but I don't actually have to heat them up. Those are in this Tupperware right here. I have some leftover sweet potatoes, and then I have, along with the other Power Greens, some chicken. This is from a whole chicken that I cooked just the other day and put a bunch of spices on there, rosemary, salt, pepper, cooked it in a little bit of olive oil, garlic salt. I'm going to tear all the meat off there and chop it up into bits so that I can add it a lot easier to the salad. And then some bell peppers, which I'm going to cut up, some mushrooms, which I'm going to cut up, and some cucumbers, which I'm going to cut up, all of which I'm going to put raw onto my salads. I've also got these avocados and Roma tomatoes that I'm going to use to throw on everything here. So first thing I'm going to do is put about 2 cups of greens in each one of these large Rubbermaid containers. They're really big ones. And then I'm going to add the essentials to each one of those. This is balsamic vinegar, organic of course. So I'm going to add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of that. About 1 tablespoon of that to each container, just because I like balsamic vinegar. You can also use apple cider vinegar if you like that better. Then I'm going to add olive oil. Again, about 1 tablespoon to each one. Not too much. It's going to give you some healthy fats, and it's also going to mix with the salad to give it a nice flavor and texture. And then of course last, I use high amounts, probably 2 tablespoons of these nutritional yeast flakes. Now is the brand on those ones. These just add protein and B vitamins. They're a food product, it's not a chemical, it's not a flavor enhancer, but it kind of gives you the effect of having cheese crumbles on the salad. So there's the base of the salads. Sometimes I like to saute the mushrooms, sometimes I like to eat them raw. In this case I'm eating them raw, and here's how I cut them. I don't cut the stem off first. I just cut through the whole thing and cut a few pretty small slices like that. I don't need to cut them too small because I don't mind having the big slices in there. So that's how I do it. Wash them first too before you cut them. The cucumbers I like to cut in half this way first. Then cut them into slices that way. The peppers I like to use a smaller knife. First obviously you want to peel the stickers off and wash them. I like to use a smaller knife because the first thing I do is just cut the top out, and that's going to take with it most of the seeds. So you kind of just cut in there and take it out like that, and then I like to tear it open, and there's a little bit more with the seeds in there to pull out, and then I just take this part and wash it off first. So I took those to the sink, washed all the seeds out of them, pulled kind of the pulp out that has the seeds attached to it. Now I'm just going to cut them into strips, and I like to keep these in kind of thin strips. So I chop them all up that way, then cut them down that way. So I get them into pretty small bite-sized pieces. I'm just going to do that with these peppers. The tomatoes are next. These are easy. All I'm going to do is cut the end off, so I get that part out of there. And I'm going to cut them in half, and then cut them into slices this way. You want to have a sharp knife for the tomatoes, otherwise it just squirts the juice everywhere. I'm going to cut them all up like that. Okay, so here's all the vegetables chopped up. Here's my bowl of greens with the stuff I added in there. All I'm going to do, real simple, just add about a handful of everything to this salad. Okay, a little bit of the red peppers, a little bit of the yellow bell peppers, a handful of the tomatoes, a couple of handfuls of those. Okay, so I got that. Next I'm going to peel apart the meat, add it in there. See that? Here's what we got so far. Some salads loaded up with a lot of raw vegetables in there. I'm going to add just a couple more things to make them complete. Next thing I'm going to do is peel all this chicken. Alright, there's a pile of chicken. It's all peeled up. So I peeled it off of the bones, threw the bones away, took all the gristle out of there. Now I'm just going to take the bigger pieces and I'm going to chop them up into smaller pieces. I'm going to do that with this whole pile. Alright, there's my chopped up pile of chicken. Now I'm going to go wash my hands and I'm going to add this into my salads. Okay, next thing is I'm just going to take the chicken and add about 8 ounces, which is about the size of one palm of my hand without my fingers, that size, times 2. Okay, about that. I'm not real particularly precise about my measurements. If you're on a fat loss plan and you're a woman, you want to keep it to about 4 to 6 ounces of meat. Usually 4 is fine, but you can do 6 if you're hungrier. And it's not going to impact you negatively, calorically, in a real major way. Okay, just adding that in, then I'll put the lids back on. The one last thing for me that I'm going to add, because I want the extra fat and calories, is avocado. If you don't want the extra fat and calories, don't add these. This stuff is going to taste really good as it is already. Here's a very simple way that I add an avocado, half or whole, to a salad. Doesn't have to look pretty, so we get it like that, and we just squeeze it in there. Because I'm going to mix all this stuff together anyway. I'm going to put a lid on, and I'm going to shake it around. Okay? So we're going to add avocado to each one of these. I'm adding a whole avocado. Again, if you want a little bit of fat, but not quite that much, just add a half an avocado to each one. But I'm a big guy, fast metabolism, really active, so I'm going to burn those calories. Alright, there they are. 4 giant salads. I'm going to do one last thing. Add a little bit of pink Himalayan salt to each one. I like salt, and this salt is particularly healthy for you. And then I'm also going to add some black pepper. Just grind a little bit on the top of each one. Now these salads are big. If I go for a long period of time, like I train a lot of people and I don't eat anything and I'm really hungry, and I work out too, I'm going to eat a whole one of these for a meal. But you got to understand, I'm a big guy with a fast metabolism and a huge appetite. If you make them like this, just eat small portions of them for a meal. You might eat a quarter of one of these for a meal, in which case these are going to last you for a little while. These might actually last you for the whole week. If you think it's going to go too long before you eat one, just put it in the freezer. When you're ready to eat it, pull it back out, let it thaw. You can eat it that day. Alright, there you go. Salad prep for the week. Alright, the one last thing I'm going to add to this food prep video is, of course, I need to eat breakfast. As I recommend on the 10-day challenge, you have your carbohydrates in the morning, which I'm going to do with these 2 sweet potatoes, and then I'm going to eat a few of these turkey sausage patties. Now if you eat smaller portions, you would eat this smaller sweet potato and 1 or 2 of these sausage patties. I'm not going to heat them up. You can heat them up if you want to. I'm just going to mix them together and eat them, and that's going to be my breakfast. See that? Eh? Not too bad. That's my breakfast. Kind of a mashed sweet potato and the turkey sausage mass, and I'm going to add, guess what? Salt and pepper. Just a little bit of each. And then to this, I'm going to add one more thing. Excuse me, which is an apple. There's my breakfast right there. Don't forget to do this with your salad containers. Mix all those flavors together. Another thing I like to add on to these sometimes is Frank's Red Hot Sauce. Very little as far as ingredients go here. Cayenne and red peppers, distilled vinegar, water, salt, and garlic powder. So not that much stuff there. Not going to add anything calorically, no artificial flavors or colors or anything like that. That's good stuff.